Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. So today what I wanted to do was discuss how I broke out of my 2.5 year plateau. So what you're seeing on screen right now is me benching 185, and I did this for around 2 reps, and this would be the most that I'd be able to bench press up until a few months ago. So what inspired me to make this video was just that I finally reached one of my goals, which was to bench 225. So the first thing that I found useful was just kind of like analyzing your form. I believe this is something we should always do, and just to keep bettering, because I feel like there's always room for improvement. So what I noticed for me personally was that my glutes would just come off the bench too much, and this is not good because it increases your chances of injuring your lower back. So like doing research, what I found was that it was my leg drive, and what I found to help me was kind of thinking as if like I was trying to make a hole in my shoe, if that makes sense. So what you want to do when you're just bench pressing essentially is you want your feet to kind of just like push forward, and what this does is just helps you keep the like a nice arch in your back, and it just keeps your glutes in place. So that was the first thing. The next thing was just hand placement. And this varies from person to person, and for me, because I have longer arms, it is more appropriate to have a wider grip. The other thing I noticed for me was that whenever I was in the starting position of the bench press, the barbell was never actually straight. It was more kind of at an angle, and the problem with this was that it would put too much strain, pressure, and just like exhaust my shoulders. And having the barbell like that increases the risk of injury. So what you want to do essentially is just have the barbell like straight, like in front of your shoulders. The next thing I wanted to talk about was just accessory movements. So for many years I did a full body program, and it is a good program for the reasons that it works on compound movements, which are the movements that are going to build the most muscle. But as you progress through the years and you train more, it is more the isolation exercises that can make a difference, whether it's in your physique or something like this in my case, where I wanted to get stronger in the bench press. So, and the reason for that is essentially because you're indirectly working muscle groups. So like, for example, like your abs are being indirectly worked when you're doing like compound movements such as like a shoulder press, for example, or like pull up, and like in this case for the bench press, the triceps. But the problem is that you're not directly targeting it, which means like you're not going to be able to progressively overload the muscle to make it stronger, but you're not also going to get the volume you need to like get the muscle bigger. So what I did was I moved to push-pull legs, which essentially allowed me to incorporate more isolation exercises. And currently what I'm doing is a tricep pull down with the ropes, skull crushers, as well as a close grip bench press. And personally, I found those to be like the exercises that have helped me the most, have helped my triceps gain a lot of strength. So I definitely recommend you guys incorporate those exercises. And then the other thing that I found was that I never really, and this goes back to like indirectly working muscles, I never really worked out my abs. And the issue with that also is just that with a lot of compound movements, it requires you to have a very stable core, and to have a stable core, it needs to be strong. So it goes back to the whole volume and progressive overload. You're not really going to be doing that indirectly working out the muscle. So I that's something that I started doing. And I actually only do around like 3-4 exercises, believe it or not. And I'll show those in a future video so you guys can try it out. But that's another thing that I found useful, and it's especially true because having a stable core will allow you to keep like proper form. So it's definitely something to incorporate if you're not doing it already. The last thing I wanted to touch on was just my weight. Weight does play a role in like how much you can lift, and for me, being someone who's 6 feet tall, being in the 140s, like the high 140s, low in 50s wasn't really optimal for like my training style, the physique I wanted, just strength progress overall. So what I decided to do is just go on a lean bulk, and you should only really do that if you should only really just bulk in general if you're either a power lifter or you're just someone who's just not you're not at an optimal weight, like you're underweight. Because just like if you're already at that optimal weight, you're essentially just going to be putting on fat, like no matter like how clean the food is, you're just going to be doing that. So that's essentially what I did, and currently I'm around 172, 173. The goal is to get to 175. That's just the sweet spot, I believe, for me. But I may get to 180. It really just depends on, I guess, like how I feel. But yeah, those were the things that I did, guys. I hope you found this useful, that you could take away something from this. And yeah, so I'll let the rest of these clips play out, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.